You must be the change you wish to see in the world. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind. It is better to be violent, if there is violence in our hearts, than to put on the cloak of nonviolence to cover impotence. Where there is love, there is life. You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. A nation's culture resides in the hearts and in the soul of its people. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. The greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Satisfaction lies in the effort, not in the attainment. Full effort is full victory. There is a sufficiency in the world for man's need, but not for man's greed. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. In prayer it is better to have a heart without words than words without a heart. There is more to life than increasing its speed. There is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind. A small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history. Nobody can hurt me without my permission. Prayer is the key of the morning and the bolt of the evening. The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. Power is of two kinds. One is obtained by the fear of punishment and the other by acts of love. Power based on love is 1,000 times more effective and permanent than the one derived from fear of punishment. The essence of all religions is one. Only their approaches are different. Honest disagreement is often a good sign of progress. Non-cooperation with evil is as much a duty as is cooperation with good. Truth never damages a cause that is just. Peace is its own reward. There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. A coward is incapable of exhibiting love. It is the prerogative of the brave. Man's nature is not essentially evil. Brute nature has been known to yield to the influence of love. You must never despair of human nature. Action expresses priorities. If we are to teach real peace in this world, and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children. If I had no sense of humor, I would long ago have committed suicide. Freedom is never dear at any price. It is the breath of life. What would a man not pay for living? Poverty is the worst form of violence. It is the quality of our work which will please God and not the quantity. The good man is the friend of all living things. A no uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. It may be possible to gild pure gold, but who can make his mother more beautiful? An error does not become truth by reason of multiplied propagation, nor does truth become error because nobody sees it. Morality is the basis of things, and truth is the substance of all morality. Anger and intolerance are the enemies of correct understanding. The real ornament of a woman is her character, her purity. Those who say religion has nothing to do with politics do not know what religion is. If patience is worth anything, it must endure to the end of time. And the living faith will last in the midst of the blackest storm. I suppose leadership at one time meant muscles, but today it means getting along with people. Let us all be brave enough to die the death of a martyr, but let no one lust for martyrdom. To believe in something and not to live it is dishonest. We may stumble and fall, but shall rise again. It should be enough if we did not run away from the battle. It has always been a mystery to me how men can feel themselves honored by the humiliation of their fellow beings. Whatever you do may seem insignificant to you, but it is most important that you do it. What do I think of Western civilization? I think it would be a very good idea. Man becomes great exactly in the degree in which he works for the welfare of his fellow men. There is nothing that wastes the body like worry, and one who has any faith in God should be ashamed to worry about anything whatsoever. To give pleasure to a single heart by a single act is better than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. The human voice can never reach the distance it is covered by the still small voice of conscience. The main purpose of life is to live rightly, think rightly, act rightly. The soul must languish, and we give all our thought to the body. Anger is the enemy of nonviolence, and pride is a monster that swallows it up. Truth is by nature self-evident. As soon as you remove the cobwebs of ignorance that surround it, it shines clear. Nearly everything you do is of no importance, but it is important that you do it. If a man reaches the heart of his own religion, he has reached the heart of the others, too. There is only one God, and there are many paths to him. Truth stands, even if there is no public support. It is self-sustained. Those who know how to think need no teachers. Prayer is not asking. It is a longing of the soul. It is a daily admission of one's weakness. It is better in prayer to have a heart without words than words without a heart. Fear has its use, but cowardice has none. Intolerance is itself a form of violence and an obstacle to the growth of a true democratic spirit. It is unwise to be too sure of one's own wisdom. It is healthy to be reminded that the strongest might weaken and the wisest might err. Always aim at complete harmony of thought and word and deed. Always aim at purifying your thoughts, and everything will be well. Constant development is the law of life, and a man who always tries to maintain his dogmas in order to appear consistent drives himself into a false position. In matters of conscience, the law of the majority has no place. All compromise is based on give and take, but there can be no give and take on fundamentals. Any compromise on mere fundamentals is a surrender, for it is all give and no take. Glory lies in the attempt to reach one's goal and not in reaching it. Faith must be enforced by reason. When faith becomes blind, it dies. Gentleness, self-sacrifice, and generosity are the exclusive possession of no one race or religion. The moment there is suspicion about a person's motives, everything he does becomes tainted. Faith is not something to grasp, it is a state to grow into. Prayer is not an old woman's idle amusement. Properly understood and applied, it is the most potent instrument of action. Self-respect knows no considerations. Freedom is not worth having if it does not connote freedom to err. Confession of errors is like a broom which sweeps away the dirt and leaves the surface brighter and clearer. I feel stronger for confession. Justice that love gives is a surrender. Justice that law gives is a punishment. We may never be strong enough to be entirely nonviolent in thought, word, and deed. But we must keep nonviolence as our goal and make strong progress towards it. The only tyrant I accept in this world is the still voice within. When restraint and courtesy are added to strength, the latter becomes irresistible. There is an orderliness in the universe. There is an unalterable law governing everything and every being that exists or lives. It is no blind law, for no blind law can govern the conduct of living beings. Before the throne of the Almighty, man will be judged not by his acts, but by his intentions. For God alone reads our hearts. Capital as such is not evil, it is its wrong use that is evil. Capital in some form or other will always be needed. I look only to the good qualities of men. Not being faultless myself, I won't presume to probe into the faults of others. Man can never be a woman's equal in the spirit of selfless service with which nature has endowed her. Morality which depends upon the helplessness of a man or woman has not much to recommend it. Morality is rooted in the purity of our hearts. Each one has to find his peace from within. And peace to be real must be unaffected by outside circumstances. Rights that do not flow from duty well performed are not worth having. An unjust law is itself a species of violence. Arrest for its breach is more so. It is easy enough to be friendly to one's friends. But to befriend the one who regards himself as your enemy is the quintessence of true religion. The other is mere business. We should meet abuse by forbearance. Human nature is so constituted that if we take absolutely no notice of anger or abuse, the person indulging in it will soon weary of it and stop. Culture of the mind must be subservient to the heart. Service which is rendered without joy helps neither the servant nor the served. But all other pleasures and possessions pale into nothingness before service, which is rendered in a spirit of joy. Everyone who wills can hear the inner voice. It is within everyone. We win justice quickest by rendering justice to the other party. Interdependence is and ought to be as much the ideal of man as self-sufficiency. Man is a social being. Each one prays to God according to his own light. I reject any religious doctrine that does not appeal to reason and is in conflict with morality. Healthy discontent is the prelude to progress. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationship divorced from spiritual is body without soul. What is true of the individual will be tomorrow true of the whole nation if individuals will but refuse to lose heart and hope. Man lives freely only by his readiness to die, if need be, at the hands of his brother, never by killing him. A policy is a temporary creed liable to be changed, but while it holds good it has got to be pursued with apostolic zeal. I believe that a man is the strongest soldier for daring to die unarmed. Man is supposed to be the maker of his destiny. It is only partly true. He can make his destiny only in so far as he is allowed by the great power. Nonviolence is not a garment to be put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being. That service is the noblest which is rendered for its own sake. Morality is contraband in war. To deprive a man of his natural liberty and to deny him the ordinary amenities of life is worse than starving the body. It is starvation of the soul, the dweller in the body. A principle is the expression of perfection, and as imperfect beings like us cannot practice perfection, we devise every moment limits of its compromise in practice. I claim that human mind or human society is not divided into watertight compartments called social, political, and religious. All act and react upon one another. Intolerance betrays want of faith in one's cause. A religion that takes no account of practical affairs and does not help to solve them is no religion. If cooperation is a duty, I hold that non-cooperation, also under certain conditions, is equally a duty. Common sense is the realized sense of proportion. I have worshipped woman as the living embodiment of the spirit of service and sacrifice. All the religions of the world, while they may differ in other respects, unitedly proclaim that nothing lives in this world but truth. For me, every ruler is alien that defies public opinion. A vow is a purely religious act. It cannot be taken in a fit of passion. It can be taken only with a mind purified and composed and with God as witness. The law of sacrifice is uniform throughout the world. To be effective, it demands the sacrifice of the bravest and the most spotless. He is lost who is possessed by carnal desire. Is it not enough to know the evil to shun it? If not, we should be sincere enough to admit that we love evil too well to give it up. God sometimes does try to the uttermost those whom He wishes to bless. Unwearied, ceaseless effort is the price that must be paid for turning faith into a rich, infallible experience. One's own religion is, after all, a matter between oneself and one's Maker, and no one else's. My religion teaches me that whenever there is distress, which one cannot remove, one must fast and pray. It is any day better to stand erect with a broken and bandaged head than to crawl on one's belly, in order to be able to save one's head. Increase of material comforts, it may be generally laid down, does not in any way whatsoever conduce to moral growth. God cannot be realized through the intellect. Intellect can lead one to a certain extent and no further. It is a matter of faith and experience derived from that faith. Action is no less necessary than thought to the instinctive tendencies of the human frame.
Thank you for listening. We update regularly, so do subscribe to our channel and like the video.